To set the stage, and because context does matter, can you each share a little bit about your backgrounds? Anisha, maybe we can start with you. Can you tell us what you're building at Secret Skin?
Thank you, Kelly, and good morning, everyone. I'm Anisha Oberoi. I'm the founder and CEO of Secret Skin, which is the region's largest tech-enabled platform for sustainable beauty and wellness. What we do is provide access to affordable beauty and personal care from around the world to the local consumers delivered the same day. I noticed 5 years ago that there was a paucity in the region in terms of products that were available that were toxin-free, that were cruelty-free, and also products that were not harmful to the environment. So essentially the leaders in the world that were doing this were Mecca and Detox, as well as Credo. And this was a gap here. This is a very congested, fragmented market, and I knew that there was a demand for this. But the larger players were not focusing on this category, and the younger players were not able to scale. Today we pivoted into B2B 6 quarters ago. We have 18 partner locations in 4 countries.
So, Brooke, can you share a little bit about your background and your current role managing the beauty division for Ali bin Ali?
Sure, thank you, Kelly. So my name is Brooke Bergé. I've actually been in the Middle East a little over 20 years. My background, going back more than 25 years ago, I'm a beauty therapist and makeup artist by trade. So I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I've been in the industry a very long time. I started off working across Australasia for the Chanels of the world, SK2, some of the big brands under Estee Lauder and L'Oreal Group. And then I moved to the Middle East and I started working in distribution. So that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years in the Middle East. I was in Dubai for 17 years. I've just moved to Qatar 3 years ago. And now I'm heading up wellness and distribution for one of the largest beauty divisions in the Middle Eastern region.
Yeah. How are you guys seeing this trend manifest when it comes to traditional beauty, both online and in retail? Brooke, maybe we can start with you.
Consumers these days are more and more delving into, I don't want to say medical efficacy, but a lot of consumers are looking for these types of brands and these type of products, especially brands that are more, I guess, indie. They have a cult following, or boutique-ish brands, because I think the market, especially in the Middle East, is very over-commercialized, it's oversaturated, it's very hard to bring in new, unique brands as well. I mean, Anisha, it's great for you to add on to this.
In the last 5 years, I've been very, very close to my customers. I know each one of them, I know what they order. I see it when the sales come back, when the orders come in, whether they've ordered something else. And then, tracking that kind of customer behavior, looking at the repeat rates on the site as and when you're delighting customers with more and more selection. My job is also to find these brands that the customers are looking for, and also to look at what the customers are searching for. So they're searching for peptides, they're searching for hyperpigmentation. There are concerns and then there are ingredients. So from Secret Skin's point of view, my customer is under siege, and I'll tell you why. And all of the women are under siege. Because let's look at the traditional journey. People already know what works for their skin by the time they're in their 30s and what doesn't work. Now we've also started doing period cycling, i.e. choosing the right products during the menstrual cycle to see what works and doesn't work. So people are becoming a lot more mindful. So I think this messaging is really important in order to build trust. My customers are overwhelmed because after the whole day, you come back, you go to the gym, you're getting ready, about to go to bed. In the last half an hour, you're worried about your hormonal profile, and you're hearing a new buzzword called microbiome, and you're saying, okay, but my product doesn't have anything with this word. I was only looking for organic or cruelty-free, or
yeah, I think the same thing goes with niacinamide and all these, popular ingredients at the moment.
And then the customer's about to go to sleep, and Instagram pops up Kim Kardashian saying that you need a face tape so that your face looks snatched in the morning. Even those 6 hours. So I feel that the customers want a simpler understanding of routines, and for that, they don't go into the stores, they go to clinics.
How would you recommend brands or service providers communicate narratives around science?
Well, from my side, it's about transparency and authenticity. You'll actually find a lot of brands in the market, when you look at their packaging, they're not always very transparent. There's a lot of jargon on there. The packaging is overwhelmed and people get confused. So if you keep your branding very clean and neutral and just stick to the point, consumers will not be confused. But at the same time, authenticity and education is very important. You need to educate the consumer. So from my side, there are two very important aspects.
In my experience, brands that are created by and formulated by doctors, estheticians, dermatologists, these have a very high resonance in terms of trust. Now, when you go into a retail store and you have someone representing the brand and your founder out there, you're talking to customers, then there's a lot more adoption because that builds the confidence in the consumer. And then you can take that and drive traffic to your own clinics and spas if you have an open one. AB has their clinics in Tata Harbour that started out in retail. Now they have their own clinics. So the idea is to go wide and then go deep. When we looked at this entire ecosystem and sustainable beauty and wellness and minimalistic usage, conscious consumption, education is really, really important. Now, it needs to come from a credible source, and that's what consumers are looking towards. They would rather go for their once in 5 weeks facial, take the products that are being used in the protocol recommended by their esthetician.
How do you evaluate products when it comes to this more kind of clinical skincare or supplements? How do you evaluate brands that are making sort of these more scientific claims in a different way than you would other categories? And what role does that substantiation come? Like the clinicals and the consumer perception studies and on and on.
No, absolutely. It's actually quite important when we do look at brands and branding to understand from the brand side their own strategy globally. Where are they being sold at the moment? I can't just bring on any brand. So that's why I always say at the moment it's very good for a lot of brands to have certain partnerships. Like SkinCeuticals at the moment, they partner with aesthetic and medical clinics, which is really good. So if I were to look at a supplement, and I am looking at supplements at the moment, specifically from Switzerland, I will not only need to understand, all of the different testings and clinical backings to it, but at the same time, I need to understand where it's being sold. And what I do like to see is surgeons or doctors or clinicians to obviously be having it sold in their clinics and obviously representing it. Some of them in Switzerland can actually prescribe supplements at the moment too. So that is a key factor when I do look at certain brands.
Just diving into this intersection of traditional retail with more clinical or spa spaces. How do you see, there are certain regions where there is this convergence, and I think where I've seen it for maybe the longest period of time is in the UK department stores, where on the sales floor you're having services happening. In the US we're starting to see it. The fact that you can get IV drips in gyms, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's possible. So you are seeing sort of these wellness longevity services pop up in perhaps not expected spaces. And you are seeing sort of even, I'll use the US as an example. At Nordstrom, they actually have a med spa, they have a blowout lounge, and then they have sort of their traditional beauty floor. Do you see sort of this, I guess, next stage of retail happening? So there's excitement, so go ahead.
No, because I just thought of another example. I use a lot of examples to substantiate what I'm about to say. That concept store is one of the most prestigious retail spaces in all of the Emirates. And I know that they partnered with Augustine Espada in order to start these services. And at the same time, you have spas like Bulgari, for example, where one of our brands, which is an Ayurvedic brand, is being used in the protocol in a menu that's been designed especially for them. What I'm excited about is there is a huge culture change because people don't want to drink anymore, but they still want to socialize because that stimulation is important. So they're going to sober parties or matcha parties. There's a DJ, and there's a company called Valio who I work very closely with. You can go to that party and then you can get tiny drips. And this has become a very cohesive part of a certain kind of culture and a generation set. But the customers that are going into stores today are still going there to buy their everyday essentials. Some skincare that they've heard about, they don't buy SkinCeuticals from retail stores, but they will go to a pharmacy to buy things because there is trust there, because the doctor has explained to them what exosomes are and what lipids are.